Welcome to another TBN review. I'm Sam Ince, and in this video I'm going to help you answer the question, should you play Shadow Warrior 3? In Shadow Warrior 3, Lo Wang comes up against his biggest challenge yet, defeating a dragon that has decimated his home and taken his closest friends. Over this 7 to 8 hour long experience, Lo Wang must fight through waves of enemies to find a way to take this giant beast down. Unfortunately, I will have to start off on a bit of a negative here, as the narrative in Shadow Warrior 3 is honestly quite subpar. The whole story only seems to scream, "Kill the dragon!" And that's about it. It seems to have lost some of the depth of the previous entries in the series. I am not saying that the narrative here is entirely bad, but it's far from what made the Shadow Warrior series stand out. Also, what has happened to the humour in this game? I remember the previous titles having some really over-the-top funny moments, and I had found myself laughing many times throughout my playthroughs. However, in Shadow Warrior 3, I can only recall a really small handful of moments that even made me chuckle. Most of the jokes and banter in this game feel really forced, and they fail to give us that silly, roll-your-eyes humour of the previous games. Instead, they just started to become quite annoying.
Like bleeding to death? You can always file a formal complaint. And someone will get in touch with you in the next 48 hours. Give it to me.
Before we continue, if you've enjoyed this review so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell, because we've got more reviews like this every single week. Now let's get back to the review. The gameplay is definitely the best part of Shadow Warrior 3. Featuring some of the tightest controls of the series to date, there are so many ways to take down your enemies that both look and feel satisfying. Also, when you take down bigger elite enemies, there are a variety of awesome weapons that they drop to help you clear out the rest of the horde. There have been some minor additions to traversal which have really helped to set the scene for many of the high intensity action set pieces. Lo Wang can now run along walls, slide through enemies, and also has a grappling hook which can constantly be used to get out of sticky situations. These new abilities are vital in helping you survive the many battle arenas that you will encounter. Unfortunately, this leads me to another big letdown in Shadow Warrior 3. The level design is broken into just two components: combat arenas and traversal. I know this seems like a strange criticism at first. However, it is not very common to be involved in much combat when outside of a combat arena. And because it is very easy to tell when you're about to enter into one, the game starts to feel repetitive quite quickly. Instead of feeling like you're out on some big adventure, you traverse the linear levels until you encounter an arena, then you must clear the area of enemies to continue. Then you are traversing till you are halted by yet another battle arena, and then you rinse and repeat. Aside from a few key set pieces, most of the traversal simply becomes a filler between the battle arenas, which in themselves eventually become tedious. After a while, this did cause me to start feeling a little disinterested, because even the enemies become repetitive, as you will always find them in the same areas in arenas, following similar patterns with no real variety. To get back onto the positives, another great aspect of Shadow Warrior 3 is the visual design. The world looks fantastic, and the graphics are a massive improvement over the previous entries, which is expected given that the second game came out 6 years ago. But the world is truly stunning, and the creativity of the art design really makes this game a pleasure to look at. Interestingly, both the parts of Lo Wang and Orochitzilla have been recast for this latest installment. Lo Wang, now voiced by Mike Moh, does sound a little more stale in his delivery of the many snarky one-liners that have become expected of the character.
And sure, they can be annoying as hell, but fleas aren't exactly apex assassins. That dragon was destroying everything ancient related and turning it into dragon poop.
On the other hand, Sungwon Cho is now the voice behind the menacing Orochitzilla, and whilst he does sound quite different, I am a big fan of this new vocal direction.
Although the ancients are gone, their chi still lingers in their artifacts. We can harness the energy from Hoji's mask and use it against the dragon.
So, should you play Shadow Warrior 3? It really depends. The gameplay is fun and the combat is fantastic, but its rinse and repeat formula really does make the game become quite tedious. There is definitely a lot to enjoy here, but just remember that you will have to sit through some repetitive gameplay and a lot of forced and stale humour. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you agree with our review? What is your opinion on Shadow Warrior 3? If you haven't already, head over to our website thebetanetwork.net for more gaming news and reviews.